So, Foggy versus Todd. This game has been played today, and we are on terenas 10, obviously, game played on Battle.net. As the blue human player here on the top left side on the map we have Romantic Human, aka Todd, while on the right bottom side of the map we have Foggy. Obviously Night Elf player, starting with an ancient war next to the natural expansion, and this sound that you can hear is basically it's Foggy spamming APM, spamming rally points everywhere around the map as he usually does. And I'm curious to see what type of hero he will choose. Actually, I'm not curious because I already saw this game today live on Foggy's stream. But since I'm casting it right now and you might not have seen this game before, I will put myself into the role of the commentator. So, if I never saw this game before, I would say I would be curious to see which hero Foggy would choose. So, I already know what's the hero, but I won't make any spoilers, so I will let you guess what type of hero Foggy will choose. Recently, it's been played a lot versus Todd on Battle.net, and I've seen him changing quite a lot. Sometimes he plays Beastmaster, sometimes I've seen him play Warden, and this time it's a Dark Ranger. So very interesting hero choice. Not too strange, I mean, we see Dark Ranger quite often, especially on this map where you can snowball with skeletons. So it's not a strange choice, like probably even more common than a panda, but still I think it's the first time I see him playing this hero against Todd. The last time, for example, he played a Beastmaster. So he's pulling the creeps here, he's not creeping the camp, he's just pulling the creeps to get the Shadow Priest, and he's going straight for the expansion, so it's a fast expansion style. I'm gonna remove the follower so we can see what Todd is doing on the top of the map, and of course he's going for the fast expansion. He took quite a bit of damage here. What item did he take? Oh, he got the Mana Stone, so very good item for the Archmage, and he's immediately playing aggressive. Probably wants to use this item, and the fact that he's going to have additional mana, and his Foggy will lose the Ancient Word, that could be potentially very bad for him. He got the mana, the Wand of the Wind, so he's using it to disable temporarily the Archmage. A nice round with the skeletons, but can he keep it close? I don't know. The skeletons are very squishy, so looks like he can though, and Todd is gonna be forced to TP. So very good play by Foggy here, deflecting this push with some proper usage of Wand of Mana Stealing. Wand of the Wind. Wand of the Wind. I don't know why I keep saying Wand of Mana Stealing. Probably because it's... Normally when I get a wand, it's the Wand of Mana Stealing. That's why. And in this game, obviously, we got 3 wands. Wand of the Wind, Wand of Mana Stealing, and Wand of Vanish Shield. But when I think about the wand, I always think of the Wand of Mana Stealing for some reasons, I don't know why really. So, level 3 for Todd. So quite a decent game for human, except for the that surrounded the TP, which was well played by Foggy. Level 3 also for the Tank Ranger, obviously, and the expansion for the Night Elf is already up. So his expansion goes just a little bit later than the human, but keep in mind that the Night Elf can also tech behind, so that's what makes Night Elf so good. The human expands, okay, but the Night Elf expands basically at the same time and it can also tech behind, so that's something that the human can never do. As a human you will never have enough wood to expand and tech at the same time, but as a Night Elf, no problem, you can do that. As you can see, the tech is already almost finished for Foggy, while the tech for Todd is not started yet. So far so good for Foggy, I would say. But Todd has a lot of footmen. He didn't lose any, I think. So that's always good when human doesn't lose any footmen in the early game. And he's already level 4. That's very good, actually. Archmage level 4. Dark Ranger still level 3. And looks like Todd wants to be aggressive here. He's got the boots of speed, doesn't have a TP. And talking about mana, he got the Wand of Mana Stealing. On top of the mana steal, so nice pick off here. He's able to snipe the Shadow Priest, and Foggy needs to heal. He cannot take a fight ever against the human army, which is bigger, stronger, so Foggy can just run away, and these skeletons won't do anything since we already have an Arcane Tower here and more towers are about to come. The only problem for the human as always is tech. He's so behind in tech. Tier 2 is not even half in production, and while for the Night Elf we already have Tier 3 tech started. Todd is trying to go for the expansion, but I don't think he has enough time to snipe it without taking too much damage. We have an armies right now with the acid bomb, which is not underestimated. Mana drain on the Shadow Priest. I mean life drain. Interesting choice. He's gonna be able to snipe the second Shadow Priest thanks to the acid bomb. So well played by Foggy here, but he needs healing very bad. And he doesn't find the time to go back to base where he could benefit from all of these full moon juice, so he's forced to TP finally, and he can finally heal up. But he's gonna lose the expansion maybe. He's mass repairing, so nice multi-tasking, but is it gonna be enough? Potentially, if this expansion falls, it could be GG. He needs the expansion, he must not lose the expansion, and looks like he's going to be here in time. And Todd is losing footman after footman thanks to the Shredder, the Berserker, and the Alchemist. I feel like, I don't know if he's got defend or not. But he's losing too much here, the human is losing too much. Very good trades for Foggy. He got almost every single footman. He lost like, he's losing one right now. It's totally worth it. And the Archmage is going for this Dryad, but is potentially putting himself in trouble as well. Even though the boots of speed should be able to run away. As we see the Water Elemental trying to snipe the Dryad and succeeding, and that's a level 5, so that's why he was committing so hard. He knew that he would get level 5 with that kill. So well done. Still full mana for this Archmage, which is never going to run out of mana. And now good luck dispelling those water torrents. But of course it's only one of them, so in this segment of the game it's not that big of a problem, but in a big fight when we will see breakers and rifles and I don't know what type of unit, those water elementals will become very strong. So We now see a Mountain King on the field with a very good inventory. He's got Potion of Invulnerability, Ill Scroll. Mana Stone is being transferred to the Mountain King, which I think is the right thing to do in this situation. You want to have the additional mana on the Mountain King, since you already have plenty of mana on the Archmage thanks to the Brilliance anyways, and the double mental intelligence. You don't need to keep the Mana Stone on the Archmage. It will be very important for Foggy to get level 6, because I don't think with these 2 heroes you can take a serious fight against the human, because Dark Ranger is not the best hero at fighting. It's not like a Demon Hunter, so you will have to play different. But the Alchemist is already pretty strong at level 3, so pretty decent hero levels for Foggy, but still I think that a Mountain King, even Archmage level 5 and Mountain King level 2 is stronger than what Foggy has right now, because the Dark Ranger doesn't really do too much damage. But if he gets somehow to level 6, then the scenario will change completely. So, because of course at level 6 you get Charm, and with Charm you can steal your opponent's units one by one. So Todd is going for his standard attack with Breakers, Orcs, and you can see he's microing pretty well, starting the Breakers and the Orcs production exactly at the right time. At the same time, you can see
our warriors have engaged.
And in the meanwhile, he's got already 3 rifles, plus the damage of the Berserker. Nice clap by the Mountain King, but Foggy has a solid front line with 3 bears, very good dispels on the water elementals, and TP is forced. So, fight clearly won by Foggy, and Todd needs, I think he needs to rescale to Blizzard right now, because hello Snow Queen 381, welcome to the stream. So, I said before, I think he needs to rescale to Blizzard, because Foggy is just going to dispel those water torrents. He's got 4 Dryads. Of course, if we see 3 water torrents on the field, it's gonna be hard to dispel all of them, but if we see only 1, then it's gonna be easy. And I think Blizzard is the way to go right now, because he can do damage against those bears. Obviously, Blizzard doesn't do anything to the Dryads, but it does a lot against the bears and anything that's not magic immune related. Now these towers are positioned pretty well, so I'm not sure if Foggy can break this. Todd was going to creep. Let's talk a little bit about supply. We got 70 for Foggy and 78 for the human, so supply wise it's the same. And Foggy looks like he's overextending here, but 2 bears have been left behind. And this, oh my god, that's horrible. So basically half of his army is stuck into Todd's base, and that's the move that I missed when I watched the game live today. I was like, what happened here? I didn't see this on stream, and that's so bad, because Todd is now at, basically didn't lose anything, so he's at 77. Foggy's at 71. He lost 2 bears and something else, but what's important is that he defeated the Mountain King, which is now level 3, and now this Mountain King is really scary. And against the Mountain King level 3, with Dark Ranger only level 5, you never take a fight, plus everything is hurt. So this is a scary human army, and
The great outdoors.
you don't want to fight against this. There's the right amount of breaks, the right amount of damage with the rifles, the right amount of slow. Maybe a couple more sorceresses would be helpful. Let's see what he's producing. He's researching the upgrade for the priest. Foggy only has 5 bears, so I don't think this amount of bears is enough to have a fight against the human. because you need at least 8 against all that the human has right now. So Foggy, okay, nice farm here by Todd. Foggy splitting his army. He's doing a Zeppelin push with 4 bears, 1 berserker and the alchemist into the human base. At the same time he's sending his dryads at the expansion, which has scouted properly. And this is a very nice move because it's keeping Todd busy, and I'm sure it will do a lot of damage here. I mean, I'm sure right now, since I already watched this game live, but I was sure about it even when seeing it happening live, because 5 bears do a lot of damage and potentially can knock down the town hall if Todd doesn't TP. Dark Ranger is stepping in, and Todd is TPing with all of his army, so Foggy is definitely gonna lose a couple of bears, at least here. Is he gonna be able to have enough damage output to knock the town hall? Yes, he does. That's very big. The private human of his tier 2. And most important, doing some serious damage to the expansion here. So basically Todd is now down to 1 gold mine. Foggy is still with 2 gold mines and is building a third expansion, a second expansion here at the bottom left side of the map. So I think that Todd, if he wants to stay in this game, needs to keep this expansion alive, but he just used the town portal. He's not level 6 yet, so he needs to run. However, we don't have any bears here, so this expansion will survive for the time being. Talking about armies, Todd is at 72, Foggy is at 67, but don't be distracted by these numbers because there's no way that Foggy can take a fight against the almost level 4 Mountain King. This Mountain King, if he snipes a few units, he's gonna be level 5 soon, and then it's gonna be trouble for the Night Elf. But looks like this is not a standard fighting game. Foggy is going for a more strategic type of play, going for the economic damage, which is the right way to play with the Dark Ranger. I guess you don't go for straight up fights. But instead you go for the economy damage. Todd is rebuilding, obviously. Let's see if he's starting his deck again. Nope. Because I think you can produce the priest. Yeah. So since your priest production is not interrupted by the absence of tier 2, then there's no reason to tech again. As an idol, for example, if you lose your tier 3, I'm pretty sure you cannot produce bears anymore. So you kind of need to tech, or let's say you're going griffins. If you lose your tier 3, you can't produce griffins, so you need your tier 3. But in this case, I think Todd can stay tier 1. The problem is that Foggy is taking his main down again, but at the same time Todd is able to cancel Foggy's expansion. But Foggy is cancelling Todd expansion as well, so this game is all over the place. And basically at the end of this trade we have Foggy still with his main expansion and Todd still with his main expansion, but Foggy also has his main base and Todd doesn't have anymore. But at the same time, the main base of Foggy is running out of gold, but keep in mind that Night Elves, what they can do is they can just uproot the Tree of Life and place it somewhere else. The human can't do that. So the Night Elf is always going to have the economic advantage unless Todd kills all of these trees. So now Todd is proceeding to destroy this expansion with all of his damage outputs, while Foggy can't do the same damage against buildings because he has nothing against buildings. Okay, he killed the main,
engaged the enemy.
But I don't think he can knock down this expansion because Todd can always TP. Does he have a TP? Yes, he does. And the inventory is amazing. He's got healing scrolls, so there's no way that Foggy can never take a fight. So Todd is finally tipping in. I bet that he's hoping for this level 6 and needs a few kills to get there, since he's going to share the experience with the Mountain King. So level 3 is on its way, but it's not, level 6 I mean, it's on its way, but it's not quite there yet. So Foggy is trying to rebuild the expansion here at the bottom left side of the map. He's already finished the tree here at the top right, so there's really not a moment of peace for Todd. It needs to be everywhere on the map, because the Night Elf building expansions for the Night Elves is extremely easy, because you don't have to move any workers. You just need one wisp. You can easily move one wisp everywhere, constantly on the map, and expand. That's how easy it is to expand with Night Elf. While with human you can't do that, because you need to send your workers every single time. So workers are slow, you need to put them into militia form. In other words, it's very much easier for Night Elf to expand than it is for humans. So I think in this hide and run game, the Night Elf is always going to win. So Todd, you can see he really wants to fight, but Foggy isn't giving him any fight. He's just putting damage and running away. He's gonna lose one bear here, so that's important for the level 6 that Todd finally achieves. Keep in mind that Todd gets experience anytime he kills a tree, not only units. So that's why he was able to get level 6 so fast. He didn't kill too many units, but he killed a lot of trees and he got a lot of experience. Let's see if MK is level 5. Not quite there yet, but it's gonna be level 5 soon. And now, with the level 6, Todd can just move anywhere on the map, so this is a game changer. And potentially solve this game for the human and make the game 10 times harder for Foggy, who is now trying to keep his mission to destroy all of the enemy buildings with the Zeppelin, because keep in mind that this is Warcraft 3, okay, and this game has a very simple goal. In order to win, you need to destroy all of your enemy buildings. So in this game, you don't win if you win the fight, like some people think you should do. Like if you don't win the fight, you have no honor or stuff like that. No, this game is about killing all of your opponent's buildings. If you manage to somehow destroy all of your opponent's buildings, you have won the game. So going for buildings, he's not going for fights. Of course, Todd knows the same thing, so he's going for buildings as well, and he's doing a good job destroying the tree. The question is, who's going to be able to do more damage? Game mass teleport, but the human doesn't have any main anymore. Because Foggy is saving a lot of units with the Zeppelin. Now it's losing one bear, which is 2 bears. That's gonna be level 5. So that's a massive level 5 for Todd. Human army. He didn't lose a single unit, obviously. It's okay, maybe lost 1 or 2. I think he didn't. The only reason you see 68 supply is because he's lost a few workers, but I think he didn't lose a single unit, because his armies are stronger at this point of the game. And Dark Ranger is not level 6 yet, so he cannot steal any unit. Where's the Dark Ranger? Oh, and Dryads are 3-3, by the way. This is something I didn't notice when I was playing the game live, because I can't click on the units obviously when I'm watching streams. Mass teleport again by Todd, applying damage towards the Tree of Life, sniping down the Tree of Life once again, but there's another one coming up for Foggy, and still 4k gold into this. into this expansion. So Todd can never build anything else again. He's without income, so I think he's lost all of his workers. He could sell items maybe, but I don't see any point in rebuilding. Okay, still has 3k gold here, but Foggy is just gonna keep killing his main base, so there's no point. Now he's sending an invisible Mountain King to scout on the map and snipe units. This Mountain King is very strong at level 5. But there's nothing to bolt because Dryads are magic immune. And Foggy has got level 6. And now he's simply going to charm Todd's units. We see an invisible rifle here, which Todd is gonna use for mass teleport. He's gonna go for the Dark Ranger. We got the Mountain King. Nice stun here. Is Foggy gonna lose the Dark Ranger? No, he's got a TP just in time. Very nice move by Todd with the invisible rifle, placing it here next to the shop. And potentially that could have been game if he gets the Dark Ranger kill over there. Foggy would lose a lot of time, even though, and he doesn't have too much gold as well because he's going to lose his tree most likely here. So of course, keep in mind, anytime Todd tries to kill Foggy's buildings, Foggy is going to react by killing Todd's buildings. So, because of course, if he's attacking, he'll be defending at the same time. So again, it comes to who's going to be able to kill buildings faster, and Todd is always going to have the upper hand into those regards because he's got the bigger army, he's got the blizzard, he's got the biggest damage output, but at the same time Foggy's got the Dark Ranger. So all of these units that you can see that belong to Todd can potentially belong to Foggy thanks to the level 6 Dark Ranger. So it's even harder to keep track of Foggy's movements because he's everywhere on the map really. I think now he's inside the Zeppelin somewhere. I lost trace of him. Where is he?
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
Where is Foggy's army? He's got one bear here. Did he lose everything? Okay, he's here inside the Zeppelin, so...
Our sacred grove is being desecrated. Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
I think he's down to a very few... He's down to a very few buildings. Very few units, I mean. And buildings. He's got one bear, one Dryad, Dark Ranger. Yeah, it's like he's got 2-3 Dryads now. He's stealing the breaker, but Todd of course is killing it immediately. So 27 supply for Foggy against 56 for the human. Three Dryads, one breaker, one level 5 alchemist. Oh, and if this alchemist for some reason gets to reach level 6, that's insane. To have charm and transmute at the same time. Basically, every single unit of the human army would be easily sniped. I mean, with charm and transmute. That would be very disappointing. But I don't think the alchemist can ever reach level 6 because what is this Knight of going to kill realistically? Nothing. So the only thing he can kill is buildings. And it's Zeppelin, MVP of this game for the Night Elf, saved him so many times. Again, invisible Mountain King, bolt thrown on the Dark Ranger. But the Dark Ranger is very tanky, actually at level 6. You could see that the level 3 bolt didn't do too much to to the Dark Ranger. And everything Foggy has is magic immune, so that's very interesting. And it's keeping him into this game because basically Todd can't do anything with this powerful mounting. It's like having this powerful car that you can't use. It's full mana, it's got everything, but this mounting is useless because the only thing that Todd can bolt are heroes. Because Foggy doesn't have any units to snipe except the bear, which is very tanky, so it can't be one shot or anything. And Foggy's got the Zeppelin to save him, so. So I'm gonna keep Foggy's vision to make it less confusing, so the human's gonna be red, Foggy's gonna be blue. Step by the Dark Ranger just to steal another unit, and this is so annoying for the human. Because the elf army is gradually increasing, while the human's army is gradually decreasing. Because the Dark Ranger is playing the type of game that I described before in the early stages of the game. And keep in mind that Charm has a very fast cooldown, which means that you're going to be able to cast it a lot of times. The cooldown of this spell is insanely low, so pretty soon Fog is gonna have another charm available. It's going to be able to staff the sorceresses. Actually not, because he doesn't have a tree. So since he doesn't have a tree of life anymore, he can't staff the sorceress anywhere. But he's still doing a lot of damage, depriving Todd of his army, and now we see 51 for the human versus 32 for the night elf. And all of this increase in supply is done purely by sniping charming units.
Your building is complete. Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
Apparently charming units doesn't give you any experience, which is something I always ask myself since
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
I only recently started to play some Dark Ranger, so I was asking myself if charming units actually gives you experience, but it doesn't, since this Dark Ranger has been charming a lot of stuff and still stuck at level 6, so while transmuting stuff with the alchemist gives you experience, and I guess the reason is because when you transmute something, you kill it, while when you charm it, you don't kill it, you make it yours, so it makes sense to not give experience, otherwise it would be too strong. You get the unit, you get the experience, that would be too much. Is Foggy going to lose the Zeppelin? Yes, he is, to the fireball of the Archmage. He's also gonna lose one rifle, but he's gonna charm another one. So the supply of Todd is slowly but inevitably disappearing. Look at this army, it was so big, now it's only 45.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
And Foggy will just keep playing this game, and I don't know what the human could do here. He needs to find the hero kill, he needs to get the Dark Ranger. If he gets the Dark Ranger, the game is for sure. Foggy doesn't have any gold, he can't build any tree. only thing you can do to win this game is to keep running away from Todd with this Dark Ranger with the cooldown, snipe every single units until he's got enough units
Your building is complete.
to win the fight, and then he can fight and win the game. Of course, Todd doesn't want to give him the time, he wants to kill all of his buildings, he's got the blizzard, he's got mass teleport, he should be able to defend, and if he's going to be able to kill all of the stuff in time, he's going to win the game for sure. So that's exactly what he's doing. And Foggy only has a few dryads and heroes who don't do any damage to buildings, so I think Todd should stay here. He's town portaling.
Your building is complete.
Okay, but he doesn't have any building here, so probably was the right decision. I don't know why the maps is signaling me more buildings, but it actually doesn't have any. So good decision by him, because if he loses all of these farms, the game is over. So he had to town portal over there. If these 3 buildings that I see on the minimap were actually real, then he could stay a little bit longer and defend those and finish off these buildings here. But he doesn't have the time. $23 supply for Foggy, 45 for Todd. I think Foggy sold all of his items, or most of them, to get his Zeppelin back. You can see he doesn't have any gold anymore. He really values this Zeppelin, because this Zeppelin is the thing that allows him to apply the damage and essentially be unpunished. And this is the hard part of the game. Like, using Dark Ranger is pretty easy, anyone can do that, anyone can charm units. But the hard part of this type of game is to load up things on the Zeppelin and not lose the Zeppelin. That's the hard part talking about micro. Because one mistake can cost you the game. If you lose this Zeppelin for any reason, if he falls, if he dies into the river, the game is over. So, game on a knife's edge. Again, more Zeppelin lame. Stormbolt, clap. But the Alchemist won't fall. But that's what I'm talking about. This Zeppelin is playing with fire. Zeppelin is very squishy, only 500 HP, and Foggy is not in the position to lose anything in this game. If you lose any single unit, the game is over. Okay, you can lose the Breaker and still play, but if he loses Alchemist or Dark Ranger, I'm not sure if the game is over if he loses the Alchemist, because the Alchemist basically healing. That's the only function of the Alchemist. This game is run by the Dark Ranger. But of course the Alchemist helps to put damage output on the building, so you want to have it. And Todd cannot move. He cannot send his units on the map, because if he sends the units on the map to use teleport, then Foggy is simply gonna charm those units. And he cannot leave his base with his full army, because anytime he leaves the base, Foggy is going to be there with the Zeppelin. So this is extremely annoying for the human, which is going to lose another Breaker again. And nothing, absolutely nothing he can do to stop that from happening. And I think we're going to reach a point where the supply of the Night Elf is going to be bigger than the human supply, unless Todd finds a way to kill this Dark Ranger. Just trying with everything he has. He's got a lot of mana on the Mountain King. He's going for the bolt again. He's looking for the blocks. He's looking for the surround. But there's a staff. Nice clap, but clap of course doesn't disable the staff as the bolt does. So the cooldown of the bolt stops Todd from winning this game, because if he gets the kill there, it's
Our warriors
game.
have engaged the enemy.
But Foggy, maybe he calculated it, maybe he was just lucky. I think he knows, so I think it was calculated. But certainly was like playing with fire. Because if Todd gets another bolt there, that's GG. You lose Dark Ranger, you lose your ability to steal units, and the game is over. Again, nice breaker movement by Todd, patrolling around his buildings to save them. He's gonna throw the bolt on the alchemist, but Foggy, with this amazing multitasking, again selling all his items, buying the invisible potion, and boom, no bolt on the alchemist. Because keep in mind that this monkey has got the bolt clap combo, so once he bolts the alchemist, then he can clap, and then he can bolt again, and the alchemist is never going to run out of there. And I don't know about this bug, why this minimap keeps signaling me with buildings that don't exist on the map, with these red dots that you can see. It's kind of weird. And Foggy is still at 20 because, yeah, he steals units, but then Todd kills them. He's killing every single rifle, as you can see. So at least Foggy is not getting any advantage from the rifles that he stole. Keep in mind, every single breaker that he steals, it's basically unkillable, because nothing can kill it. So losing rifles is not that much of a problem, but losing breakers really goes to reinforce the Night Elf's army. The situation for Todd at this point is basically desperate, because Foggy is messing a lot of breakers. He already has 3, and Todd is only left with 4 breakers. So the next charm will put Todd with like 3 breakers, and Foggy will have 4. And I think when Foggy's got 5 breakers and Todd has only 2, then Foggy can win the fight, even against the Mountain King. Because you can use the breakers to drain the mana. But of course he doesn't need to fight, he can just keep playing this game of hide and run forever, so... until he's stolen every single unit that Foggy has, and then that Todd has, then when Todd only has his Archmage and his Mountain King, then Foggy can easily win the fight. Which is exactly what he's doing. Now you will see his Dark Ranger will land once again next to the human's unit. Mountain King can't be invisible again because there are no sorceresses anymore. And it looks like Foggy is going for the final push, maybe.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
But you still need to pay attention as the Mountain King is level 6 and very scary and angry. Maybe Foggy is going to lose 1 breaker, but not even. Nice micro by Foggy moving the breaker away. Mountain King, even with the boots of speed, can't catch up because breakers are pretty damn fast units. So the human is down to 20 for supply, and Foggy is at 34. And I remind you that when this type of charming game started, Todd at 56 supply, so he has lost 30 supply purely to charm, purely to the Dark Ranger.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
And above all the ways that you can possibly lose a game, this has to be the most disappointing. Like for me, if I lose the game to this type of play, that's the most disappointing way to lose, really. Because there's absolutely nothing, you're not doing any mistake, there's just absolutely nothing you can do. You can't do anything to stop the Dark Ranger from stealing your units. Basically the only mistake is to not finish the game earlier, to find a way to kill the Night Elf earlier with a 80-foot push or something like that. At this stage of the game, already 10 minutes ago, there's already nothing that the human can do anymore. The only way the Night Elf can lose this game is if he makes a mistake, loses a hero to the Mountain King. Otherwise, there's no way. Because at this stage of the game, the level 6 of the Dark Ranger is superior than the level 6 of the Archmage. Because you can't move, you need to protect those two farms. So good job now by Todd, sniping one breaker. But Foggy is plating his army well. You can see he never puts everything in the same place. He always attacks from two different directions. Keep in mind the only buildings that we have left are those two farms. So once these farms are dead, it's game over. So I think at this point you can leave the game. Of course you're going to stay because you want to use every chance the Night Elf can make a mistake, lose his heroes and lose the game, but the game doesn't depend upon you anymore. You can only rely on your opponent's mistakes. You can see that Todd is trying to get rid of that Zeppelin with everything he's got, which means we play at the infinite mana that he cannot use. And now Foggy is just going to go back, steal another unit, probably another breaker, or maybe even the berserker. I think at this point he can fight. 31 versus 24. I think he could take a fight, but he doesn't need to, so he's gonna wait and patiently snipe more and more units. Now he's at 34 against 21. His army just gets bigger and bigger while the human army gets smaller and smaller. Oh, he even gets the cancel on the mass teleport. Was that a misclick or what? Or is he gonna lose the berserker? Who did right? At this point you can see he cannot fight anymore. Because he has nothing to kill this army. And now the human is just losing everything, and Foggy can do whatever he wants at this
Our
point.
warriors have engaged the enemy.
He's just going there to finish the farm. He doesn't even need his heroes to fight this army anymore, because the Mountain King can't do anything against those breakers and those dryads. So Foggy is playing it extremely conservative right now. But keep in mind that this game wasn't that easy at all. Now it's easy at this stage of the game, but when Todd still had his 56 food army, 60 food army, and Foggy was losing all of his bears inside the human base at that point, it really looked like the you could win this game. And when I saw this game live, I really had no idea who was going to win this game. I only understood that, realized, I mean, that Foggy was going to win for sure after he started sniping things with the Dark Rangers. A pretty sick game, very cool game, certainly one of the, I don't want to say the best, I will use the word most entertaining, because this game, the only reason it lasted for so long, it's because it was full of mistakes. By Foggy in the beginning, losing all of these bears into the human base, and almost losing his expansion in the early game. Then maybe Todd didn't go all in. Maybe if he goes all in when he's got the 70 foot army, if he goes all in with towers and knocks down the expansion, or does some serious damage, maybe he could even go with towers at the expansion of Foggy, tower up, destroy the expansion and establish a new base over there. And that could have been the solution. I don't know, because it's extremely hard to play against this style, because like I said before, the Knight of Ken. Massive everywhere, and just keep this hide and run game. But certainly this game was full of mistakes. And usually when you see games with mistakes, they are more entertaining because they tend to last longer. And then when heroes are higher levels and they get the ultimates, it always makes for entertaining games. So very epic game between these two. Probably not the best game in terms of being solid. Like when you play really solid, when you see those pro players playing solid, they play so well that it's almost boring. Like they play so solid that they finish games in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and the opponent can't do anything. Absolutely nothing. When you see these long games, it's because they both play at the similar level. They both make mistakes. And then the player who makes the less mistakes ends up winning, which is the case here. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.